The catalyst, a child's death and the Galactic Council's hubris. Humanity had always approached the Galactic Council with humility. As newcomers to the interstellar community, Earth's representatives emphasized cooperation, respect, and a genuine willingness to learn from older, more advanced species. Their inclusion of Maren, a bright and curious 10-year-old girl, as part of the diplomatic mission, was a deliberate act of vulnerability and trust. Maren embodied innocence and hope, a way to show that humans, despite their turbulent history, sought peace in the stars. The tragedy unfolded when Maren, wandering curiously within the vast council halls, strayed into a restricted section overseen by the Xynar Collective. The Xynar were known for their rigid, authoritarian nature and their disdain for what they saw as lesser species. Without hesitation or warning, the guards executed her. Their report coldly labeled it as a necessary action to prevent espionage. Earth's ambassador, Amelia Renard, was summoned to retrieve the child's body. She entered the chamber, her heart pounding with disbelief, only to see Maren's lifeless form discarded as though she were nothing more than an inconvenience. Kneeling beside the child, Amelia's hands trembled as she cradled Maren's fragile frame. Her diplomatic instincts warred with her raw grief and fury. The Council's response was nothing short of infuriating. The Xynar representative, Councillor Zilka, dismissed the incident as a minor infraction. "Rules are rules," Zilka hissed, his translucent mandibles clicking in disdain. "Your species would do well to teach its young discipline." This was an unfortunate but lawful outcome. The chamber erupted in a mixture of shock and indignation from other species, many of whom had grown wary of the Xynar's arrogance. But their protests were drowned out by Xylkar's smugness and the Council's collective apathy. Amelia rose to her feet, her face a mask of barely contained rage. "This child was a symbol of peace," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "Your actions are not just a murder, but an attack on the very principles of unity this council claims to uphold." Xylkar sneered. "Your emotional outburst is irrelevant. What can Earth do, Ambassador? Your people are a fledgling species, insignificant in the grand scale of the galaxy." Amelia's eyes locked onto Xylkar's with a gaze so steely it made him falter. "You will regret this," she said, softly, but with unmistakable menace. The council chamber fell into an uneasy silence as Amelia carried Maren's body out. Behind her, Zilkar and his allies continued to mock humanity's primitiveness, oblivious to the storm they had just unleashed. Back on Earth, the tragedy ignited something primal. Grief turned into fury, and fury transformed into resolve. For decades, humanity had hidden its true power, pretending to be weaker than it was to avoid provoking the older, more powerful galactic civilizations. But now, the facade would fall. Amelia Renard sent a single message back to Earth: activate the Leviathan Protocol. The Council had killed a child? Humanity would remind them of a truth etched into their history. They were not weak, they were just patient. Their patience had just run out. 2. Earth's secret arsenal, the awakening of the ancient fleet. For centuries, humanity had hidden its greatest technological achievements. While the Galactic Council saw Earth as a young and naive species, they were unaware of humanity's long and tumultuous history. Before Earth had even been contacted by extraterrestrial civilizations, it had survived and thrived through crises that would have annihilated lesser species. global wars, near-extinction events, and even rogue AI uprisings. Humanity's ingenuity had always been born from adversity. In the aftermath of Maren's murder, Earth's leaders convened in a secure chamber beneath the Arctic ice. The Leviathan Protocol, a contingency plan known only to a handful of high-ranking officials, was initiated. It was a desperate measure, one designed not for diplomacy, but for total warfare. The fleet's existence had been a closely guarded secret. After humanity's first brush with extinction centuries earlier, the greatest minds of the time had constructed a series of warships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. These vessels, buried beneath Earth's oceans, cloaked in asteroid fields, and hidden in the Kuiper Belt, were designed to be nearly indestructible. They were equipped with technology so advanced it bordered on the mythical. Self-sustaining energy cores, adaptive AI capable of learning and evolving in battle, and weaponry that could harness and manipulate gravitational forces. The Eternal Vigilance was the first to awaken. Resting in orbit around Jupiter for nearly a millennium, it had become almost a myth even to those within Earth's military. When its systems roared back to life, the vessel's AI, designated Solace, greeted Admiral Jonas Vance with cold efficiency. "Our systems operational, awaiting deployment orders," the AI intoned, its voice resonating through the ship's vast halls. Across the solar system, other ships joined the Eternal Vigil, the Unyielding Resolve, the Titan's Fury, and the Shadow of the Void, among others. Each was a masterpiece of engineering, their hulls forged from materials that absorbed light and radiation, making them nearly invisible against the void of space. Together they formed the Leviathan Fleet, a force designed not just to defend Earth, but to dominate any who dared threaten it. Admiral Vance stood on the bridge of the Eternal Vigil, gazing out at the growing fleet. His expression was grim as he addressed his crew. "We have always hoped these ships would never need to leave their stations," he began, his voice steady but heavy with emotion. "But today, the galaxy has reminded us of a harsh truth. Peace is not given, it is earned. They killed one of our own. Now they will learn the cost of awakening humanity's wrath." The fleet moved with eerie precision, entering hyperspace in perfect synchronization. Their destination, the Galactic Council's territory. The crew, composed of Earth's finest, felt the weight of their mission. This was not just retaliation, it was a message. The first signs of the Leviathan Fleet's awakening sent ripples of fear throughout the galaxy. Council patrols stationed near the Sol system began to vanish, their distress signals abruptly cut off. Reports emerged of enormous black vessels emerging from nowhere, leaving nothing but silence in their wake. The Galactic Council, once so confident in their superiority, was thrown into disarray. As the fleet approached the Council's core systems, a final message was sent from Earth, echoing across the stars. Greater than, "You killed one of ours. Prepare to face all of us." The Leviathan Fleet's presence was a revelation to the galaxy. Humanity was not the fragile, fledgling species the Council had believed them to be. They were survivors, innovators, and warriors, carrying the lessons of countless battles into the stars. Admiral Vance turned to the AI Solace as the fleet exited hyperspace, their colossal forms blotting out the stars above the Council's homeworld. "Activate primary systems," he ordered. "It's time the galaxy understood who we really are." The Leviathan Fleet came alive, its weaponry glowing with an ominous light. For the first time, the Galactic Council felt the cold grip of fear. Humanity had been underestimated for too long, and now their strength would leave an indelible mark on the stars. Humanity's lesson to the galaxy was simple: never mistake patience for weakness. 3. The Galactic Council's fall. Vengeance delivered. The moment the Leviathan Fleet emerged from hyperspace, the universe seemed to hold its breath. Above the Galactic Council's capital, the vast shimmering orb that had once symbolized unity and power, the ships hovered, silent, implacable, and terrifying. The Eternal Vigilance was the lead vessel, its massive black hull absorbing the light of distant stars as if it were a shadow itself. Behind it, the other ships of the fleet emerged, each one a towering fortress of destruction, their weapons primed and ready. The Council, caught off guard by the scale and speed of humanity's retribution, scrambled to respond. Their forces, though technologically advanced, were no match for the sheer power of the Leviathan Fleet. Earth's ships had been designed for a war that spanned galaxies, using tactics and weapons that defied logic. Unlike the Council's forces, which adhered to outdated military doctrines based on brute force and precision, humanity's fleet operated as a single, unstoppable entity. Every ship was connected through the shared intelligence of the fleet's AI cores, allowing them to act in perfect coordination, with each vessel anticipating the movements of the others before they even occurred. The first attack came swiftly, without warning. An entire squadron of Council ships, stationed in defense of the capital, was vaporized in a single blinding pulse of energy. The force of the blast was so concentrated that it ripped apart the fabric of space itself, leaving behind only the twisted wreckage of what had once been a formidable defense. Across the Council's capital, panic erupted. Representatives from dozens of species, once so smug in their belief that they were invulnerable, now scrambled to take refuge in underground bunkers, their minds racing to devise a way to counter the unimaginable threat before them. But it was already too late. Amelia Renard, aboard the Eternal Vigilance, transmitted a message to the Council's leadership, her voice carrying across the now silent space. Greater than, this is the price of arrogance. You killed one of ours. Now, we will erase everything you hold dear. You will not find mercy, and you will not find escape. As she spoke, the Leviathan Fleet engaged in a coordinated attack on the capital's defense grid. Energy shields flickered, their attempts to block the incoming fire futile against the sheer might of Earth's weaponry. Each blast from the fleet's cannons sent shockwaves rippling through the atmosphere of the Council's homeworld, disintegrating entire districts, reducing towering spires to rubble. The planet's once glorious cities became little more than smoldering craters, as if the Council's hubris had been erased in a fiery testament to Earth's power. On the surface, Council leaders cowered in their fortified chambers, struggling to comprehend the scale of the devastation. They had not expected humanity's wrath to be so swift or so absolute. They had underestimated the will of a species that, though young in the eyes of the galaxy, had proven time and again that it would survive at any cost. And now, Earth was showing them that survival came with a terrible price. The Zynar Collective, the architects of the crime that had set this all in motion, were the first to fall. Their homeworld, once a thriving hub of the Council's political power, was reduced to a lifeless husk. Earth's fleet did not simply destroy their cities, they wiped them from existence. The Zynar's powering spires crumbled to dust, their once proud species decimated in a single unforgiving strike. The message to the galaxy was clear: when you kill one of ours, you forfeit your right to exist. But the destruction did not stop there. The remaining Council members, scattered across the galaxy, attempted to flee, hoping to escape the unstoppable force that humanity had unleashed. They had only one option left: to beg for mercy. In a final, desperate plea, the surviving council representatives transmitted a message to the eternal vigilance, hoping against hope that the anger of humanity might be quelled. But Amelia's reply was unyielding. "Mercy," she said, her voice cold as ice, "is a luxury you no longer have. The death of a child is an unforgivable act. You will never forget the cost of your cruelty." One by one, the once proud fleets of the Council were obliterated. Whole star systems that had once belonged to the ruling species of the galaxy fell silent, their planets reduced to ash. The fleet's AI, Solace, coordinated every strike with eerie efficiency, ensuring that not a single remnant of the Council's power remained. No fleet would rise again to challenge humanity. The Leviathan Fleet did not seek to conquer. It sought to ensure that the tragedy of Maren's death would not be forgotten. As the last remnants of the Galactic Council fell, the universe was left in stunned silence. Earth's message had been delivered in the most decisive terms possible. The galaxy had witnessed the true might of humanity. The Council was no more. Ending sentence. The stars, once the domain of the arrogant and the powerful, now belonged to Earth. Humanity had claimed its place among the stars, and those who had dared to underestimate them would never again make that mistake. 4. The Aftermath, a galaxy forever changed. In the aftermath of the destruction of the Galactic Council, the galaxy was left to reckon with the unimaginable scale of the devastation. Once the heart of interstellar governance, the Council's homeworld was now a shattered ruin, its once glorious citadels reduced to rubble. The vast interconnected network of alliances, treaties, and power structures that had ruled for millennia crumbled under the weight of Earth's vengeance. No longer did the galaxy operate under the semblance of unity or order. The Council was gone, its bureaucratic reign extinguished in an instant, and in its place a new era of uncertainty and fear dawned. Humanity's victory was absolute, and it sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. The former member species of the Galactic Council, once willing to ignore Earth's presence or dismiss its significance, now found themselves in the wake of a new, terrifying power. Earth's ships, massive and unyielding, continued to patrol the stars, their silent, watchful presence a constant reminder of the lesson learned the hard way. Never underestimate the will of humanity. The surviving Council members, once the rulers of the galaxy, had fled or been executed, and their former allies now scrambled to choose sides. Some species, realizing the futility of resistance, began to align themselves with Earth, pledging loyalty in exchange for protection and safety. Others, driven by fear or old resentments, sought to form coalitions against humanity, hoping to restore some semblance of balance to the galaxy. But none of them dared challenge Earth directly again. Their forces were no match for the overwhelming power of the Leviathan Fleet. On Earth, the victory was bittersweet. The death of Maren had united humanity in a way no war, no crisis had ever done before. Earth's leadership, under Admiral Jonas Vance and Ambassador Amelia Renard, now found themselves at the helm of a galaxy-changing transformation. But even as they emerged victorious, they carried the weight of the loss. The memory of Maren's bright, hopeful eyes, extinguished so violently by the Council, lingered in their hearts. Amelia, hailed as a hero, spent her days in quiet reflection. The responsibility that now rested on humanity's shoulders was immense. No longer were they the underdogs of the galaxy. They were the force that had toppled the most powerful political entity in known space. But Amelia knew that power alone wasn't enough to guarantee peace. Humanity had to prove that their victory wasn't just about vengeance, but about building a future where the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. With the Council gone, the former Council members' homeworlds were now empty, their civilizations in ruin. Humanity did not move to conquer these planets or claim them as spoils of war. Instead, Earth's leaders decided to help rebuild. Reparations of a sort, not for the lost lives of their enemies, but for the future of the galaxy itself. The survivors of the once mighty Council's many species were offered refuge, a chance to rebuild their societies, and perhaps to join Earth in a new era of cooperation. But there were no illusions. Earth was the new power in the galaxy, and their influence would be felt in every corner of space. The age of the Galactic Council had ended, and Earth's star was rising. As the months passed, the Leviathan Fleet moved into positions around the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as guardians. Human colonies, once small and isolated, began to flourish under the protection of the fleet's might. The galaxy, once fractured and ruled by infighting, was now beginning to look toward a new future, one where humanity would play a dominant role. The legacy of the Galactic Council was all but erased, its failures exposed for all to see. The message humanity had sent could not be clearer. We will not be silenced. We will not be forgotten. Ending sentence. In the silent expanse of space, humanity stood tall, not as conquerors but as the rightful stewards of the galaxy's future. And as Earth's banner now flew proudly among the stars, the galaxy learned that a species that had once been dismissed as insignificant could reshape the cosmos, if only given the chance. Diplomatic mission, and the Galactic Council dismisses the act, mocking humanity's protests. In response, Earth's leaders activate the Leviathan Protocol, awakening an ancient, hidden fleet of colossal warships built during a time when humanity fought existential wars. The fleet, equipped with unimaginable firepower and advanced AI, emerges from their long slumber, prepared to exact vengeance. The Leviathan Fleet decimates the Galactic Council's forces, obliterates the Xynar homeworld, and sends a chilling message to the galaxy. Never underestimate the once mighty Council crumbles, its planets reduced to ruins. In the aftermath, Earth rises as the dominant force in the galaxy. While some species ally with humanity, others attempt to resist, but none dare challenge Earth's might. Earth's new leaders, Admiral Vance and Ambassador Renard, decide to rebuild, offering help to former enemies to ensure peace, even as they make clear that humanity's power will never again be questioned.